So, good evening, everyone. As many of you know, I'm Ben Pinnington. I'm managing partner of Polaris Media. We're a maritime specialist PR firm. And I'm now president of Chicago Propeller Club. It's one of the great privileges of my life to be president of Chicago Propeller Club. When I first came to Chicago in 2013, it was, with no bullshit, one of the most exciting moments of my life. I don't know what that says about my life to that point, but it was a bit like going to heaven without the bother and the expense of dying, as P.G. Wodehouse famously said when he arrived in New York. But there is a special energy here in Chicago, and I can say, as somebody new to the city, if you like, wasn't born here, this is an energy that has electrified the world. If you think about the Chicago Blues and all those guys, Howling Wolf, Muddy Waters, where I'm from, in Liverpool, you wouldn't have the Beatles, you wouldn't have the Rolling Stones. And I hope that's not too much of a tangent, but that means a lot to people like me and where I'm from. And to have the opportunity to live here and live at the energy source and meet all of you and experience what created that magic, it's a dream come true. And also to give back to the community, the maritime community here in Chicago and the Great Lakes. I think that is a very important element of the maritime industry, is that we are at the fabric of our communities. This is not a new industry. We've been around for centuries, and we're one of the most passionate industries, and I hope that that's something that we can convey to the school pupils who are here today from Chicago Hope, that this is an industry that can set your soul on fire. If you work in a shipyard, if you work on a ship, I think that's something that is really captured in John Bacon's book, just the passion of the people in this industry. So I have a very hard act to follow in becoming president after Chris Carr, who presided over the Propeller Club being named Propeller Club of the Year in the 80 Club Network, and he was Propellerist of the Year. So he's created this fantastic legacy, but I think he'd be the first to say that this has been a team effort, and we've had 11 events now, hundreds and hundreds of people attending our events. Obviously, many of you have joined as sponsors and members, so this is a team effort, and I think it's fair to say that Chicago has its highest maritime profile for a long time, for decades. I'm looking at Ian now, maybe Ian disagrees with that, but and that's largely thanks to the efforts of all of you who have supported the recalibration of the Chicago Propeller Club, which, as you know, had been dormant for 15 years, but maritime people are now talking about Chicago in New Orleans, in Athens, in Oslo, in Tampa, in Houston, in Long Beach. The list goes on and on and on. And we're back at the top table, and that's where Chicago belongs. As Chris says to me, we go big or we go home in Chicago. That's the mentality here. And we don't want to go backwards. So that's why this club matters, and we ask you to continue your membership, continue attending the events, sponsor the club, because we're not going to get the investment into Chicago. We're not going to get the government to invest in the infrastructure unless we put our hand up and say, we are a maritime city. So who is here for the first time today? Brilliant, it's a lot of hands, You're very welcome. So I'd also like to thank our speaker, as I say, John Bacon, who is in this pantheon, I was just saying to him, in this pantheon of great American authors, documentary makers that I've learned since moving here to Chicago, Ken Burns, David McCullough. And as a writer myself, as a journalist myself, I can say that this book The Gales of November. It's a riveting read, it really is. And more than anything else, I was saying this to Tom Wiater the other day, it's a fitting elegy to the crew. They're not just some cliche of 29 lost souls. And I think what John has done is that he's brought them back to life and he's made them relatable. And it reminds me of when I first went into the maritime industry in 2007. I was working in a shipyard in Liverpool, Camel Lead, one of the most famous shipyards in the UK and the world. And I was meeting people like McSorley, like Hudson, you know, real leadership, real balls-to-the-wall leadership, authentic passion. And that's what we have in this industry. We have authentic passion. And as I say, I hope we can convey that, something of that, to Chicago Hope Academy, because we've got to sell this industry. We've got to inspire people to come and work in maritime. So, need to rattle through this now. A big thank you to our sponsors. Our headline sponsor, SBSB Eastham Law Firm, and Chris Carr. He's good at keeping himself in the limelight here. Propellerist of the Year, lead sponsor. Our speaker sponsor, Liz Cow Law, and Lance Bullock. Where are you, Lance? Thank you so much, Lance, here from New Orleans, another great port city. It'd be great to encourage more trade with New Orleans, and I know there's a big chapter, Propeller Club chapter in New Orleans. Also, our drink sponsor, ACBL, and Johnny Dunn, wherever he is. Johnny, thanks so much. We'd also like to welcome our new board members, Scotty Sigman, our new treasurer, taking on the mantle from Eric Varela, from Equanimous, I think I'm saying that correct, Scott? Yeah. It's a very fancy name for a business, I have to say. And also Brooke Baldassari, who's joined us from BP Shipping. Brooke, former seafarer and veteran, and helping lead our outreach with veterans and seafarers and careers. Incredibly grateful to the board for all of the time that they give. This is the club is run on a volunteer basis, so very grateful to Ian Hurt, Eric Varela, Warren Marwoodall, and all of the people on our board. And we do urge you to sign up for our committee, help us to grow the club and grow your own network and give back to the community. So our focus for the next 2 years of my presidency, if I can be so grandiose, has got 4 prime focuses. 1, we want to deliver high-quality events like this so you can grow your business. Businesses cannot create jobs, cannot create wealth if they're pouring from an empty cup. And maybe the people outside with the 3 rats need to listen to that. Second, we want to raise awareness of the importance, as I say, of maritime and all of the exciting career opportunities that it offers here in Chicago and across the US and the world, actually. Thirdly, support seafarers and veterans. I was just saying to Brooke earlier, these are the little people often in our industry, and they're too often out of sight and out of mind. They don't always have a voice, and we want them to know that someone is thinking of them. And fourthly, we want to strengthen engagement across the 80 Club Propeller Club network, because there is no other maritime organisation in the world that can match this network. So it's a very powerful platform to grow your business. We're also currently in the sponsorship renewal season, and I'm looking at Scott now, and we want to thank all of those who've renewed their support. As I say, we are volunteer run. We can only lay on these events with your support. So Canal Barge, I'd like to thank Jamie Hemming. They're actually a new sponsor, so thank you to Jamie, biggest barge operator in America, I think. The American Great Lakes Ports Association, Armada Risk, Western Great Lakes Pilots, Central Marine Logistics, I know Tom is here, and his team, Wendella, City Cruises, Inspector, Polaris, got to mention my company, and also welcome to our new members, Derek Bell of Middle River. Derek, can't miss Derek, the big lad. Lance Bullock, we mentioned, from New Orleans. Jean-Francois Hood from the government of Quebec. We're doing our bit for Canadian relations. Matthew Raban, Chad Furman from the Core Group. Colby Snyder from Great River Marine Surveying. And Vince Dra from Dra Law. I think Vince is here. Where are you, Vince? Thank you for your support. Okay, and you can also join us at our forthcoming events. Important to highlight these. We've got one coming up fast, Maritime Day Luncheon Cruise from Navy Pier. That's always a super event. Maritime Day is the same, May the 22nd. Special reception during the Inland Marine Expo in Nashville, May the 28th, that we're sponsoring with Armada, one of our sponsors, and lots of other propeller clubs will be at that as well, so good opportunity to get to know the other propeller clubs. Our flagship event, the AGLPA reception on July the 29th, all of the Great Lakes Port directors attend that super event, and an industry networking event on October the 28th. So those are the dates for your diary. So finally, I'd like to invite Brooke to come up, and we were hoping that Mission 22 were going to be here today, but unfortunately their flight got cancelled. So Brooke at the last minute is going to come and talk to us about veteran welfare. As I say, it's a cause close to our hearts. We want to raise awareness of the people who underpin our industry, which I think is very much a message in John's book as well. So Brooke, over to you.
I'm Brooke Baldessari. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a senior trading operator on the U.S. distillate trading team at BP.